Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Wistrcill.
I'm JT Wistrcill.
And we'd like to welcome you to another edition of From the Couch, NFL Week 6, recap time. Maybe some other things are going to happen today on the show as well. But another exciting NFL action. We had a couple of Monday night games, which proved to be some interesting entertainment. But I think first, what we'll do as normal, we'll go five takeaways from the weekend, back and forth, point, counterpoint. And so as we usually do, we start with my friend JT here, who is dressed in black for a reason. And not because of the black and gold Steelers. So go ahead, JT. How you feeling today?
The Vikings are dead. The 2020 Vikings are dead. Any optimism of postseason hopes or anything was drained away with their 40-23 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. The winless Atlanta Falcons, who were coming fresh off a head coach firing. No way they could win this, we thought. But of course, the Vikings lost it. Coaching on the offensive and defensive side has been an issue. The young corners have not performed up to par. The pass rush is non-existent. The D-tackle is struggling on the run defense. The quarterback is very up and down. It's not all his fault like everyone wants you to think. I mean, the offensive line is a huge issue, and not a single one of them out of 100 graded over 30 in pass protection, according to Pro Football Focus. So,
Ouch.
Team's a mess. They're also, Danielle Hunter is such a key piece to this team, and they miss him badly. Dalvin Cook didn't play and missed him a lot. So, I'm going to give the Atlanta Falcons some credit. Julio is still the best receiver in the game. I thought Deion Jones, their inside linebacker, was fantastic. And also Raheem Morris, interim head coach, did a good job. But the Minnesota Vikings, at least for the 2020 season, are dead. So we bury them in a shoebox. So this is the 2020 Vikings hat, fittingly enough, into its casket, never to be seen again. I'm glad 2020 year.
I'm glad you're keeping your shirt on. Your Viking shirt.
I will keep the shirt on. Don't worry about that.
We're not taking shirts off during the show. There we go. Okay. Sorry about your Vikings.
Yeah.
It's just not their year. So I'm going to talk about my least favorite team in the NFL and the incredible collapse of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, boy.
2-4 on the year. No Dak. Zeke fumbles like every third carry now, it seems. Their defense is awful. I mean, it's hard to believe how bad the defense is. The Cardinals shredded them tonight. Now, they were given us some decent field position because of turnovers a couple of times, but that doesn't excuse all the points that the Cowboys gave up. Luckily, they go to Washington next week, but I'm not even sure that's a sure win for the Cowboys, because then they play the Eagles at the Eagles, and then they come home for the Steelers. If they don't win at Washington next week, they could lose their next 3 in a row. So for a team who loves to think how great they are, talk about America's team, we're going to show Jerry Jones every third play sitting in his suite there at the dome that he built. You know what? Those cocky guys, that's what you get. You build your franchise that way, and you don't deserve to be great, because the culture is built like a deck of cards. It's going to come down. And so Mike McCarthy might be a good coach. Don't know. Obviously, losing Dak changes things dramatically for them. They are just about done. They're not quite in the shoebox yet, but they're nearing there.
They would be if their division wasn't so bad, which is why I still hold on to a sliver of hope of my prediction I went on last week about them still winning the division, but do not feel good about that as of Monday night.
I think the Eagles are the best team in the division, even though they can't win a game either. So anyway, we'll go from there. I'm done with them. Okay, number 2, what do you got?
These are teams that are in the dumpster when you talk about the Cowboys and the Vikings. This is a team, my next team is, everyone wants to throw in the dumpster, but you just got to admit they're good. And that's the Chicago Bears. Oh, they're the worst 4-1 team ever. They're not real. Guess what? The Bears are real. They just keep winning. They're 5-1. At some point, you just have to say it. They beat the Buccaneers, and we saw what they did. They beat the Panthers, who were red hot coming in. They have some good wins this season. They're a good team. And no, they're not sexy on offense. And we live in a league where everyone, all they want to do is talk about the offensive stars. They don't have that. But defensively, we know they have stars. Khalil Mack is awesome, but Robert Quinn was a huge addition from them for the Cowboys. And the biggest addition was just getting someone back healthy. Akeem Hicks is a monster and was a Pro Bowler in 2018. 2019 hurt, doesn't make it. His addition is huge. Jalen Johnson stepped up as a corner, and the inside linebacker trio of Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan is very good as well. So give this defense a lot of credit. They force turnovers, give the offense good field position, and the offense just has some guys like Allen Robinson can do something. Jimmy Graham can do something. Nick Foles is capable of all of these things we know. So give the Bears credit in that regard. They are a good football team. They're just not a very good offense, but they're a good team.
when you play defense, you can win games.
Mm-hmm.
So they're obviously doing that. So are they the best team in the NFC North?
Oh, NFC North? I won't go that far just yet, but I think they're the clear-cut number 2, and they very well could be. You're absolutely correct.
They could be. So they haven't played the Packers yet, I don't think. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as much as it pains me, I'm going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens right now. They keep finding a way to win. You know, they held the Eagles, didn't give up the 2-point conversion to go to overtime, so they won that game. Lamar had 188 yards passing and 108 yards rushing. Can he get some help? I mean, he is literally doing everything for the team. If he could throw the ball to himself, he probably would. He's that good. He's that talented. Defense has been very solid. They always are. They did give up 22 points in the fourth quarter to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So that's a little concerning there. But the Eagles aren't too bad. And that now, here's the deal with the Ravens. Because of that scheduling quirk with the Titans-Steelers game got postponed. So the Steelers play the Titans next week. Ravens on a bye, and then the next week, Steelers at Ravens. Ravens might be, their only losses to the Chiefs. They could potentially be one of the best teams in the NFL. They keep finding ways to win. We'll find out after the Steelers game how good they are, but they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit. Nobody talks about them as kind of one of the 2 or 3 elite teams in the NFL, and they probably should because the Ravens just find ways to win. And 2 weeks from now when we do our show, we'll be able to see who the pride of the AFC North is.
Yeah, a great division that is. And I know people love to jump on Lamar Jackson, but I know he's an awesome offensive line. The rest of the skill position talent is a little bit underwhelming. We all love Mark Ingram, the personality. He's not one of the 10 best running backs in the NFL, so good point there.
All right, number 3, what do you got?
How about the Buccaneers dominating the Packers, coming off that loss to the Bears, the other NFC North team, and then clobbering Green Bay? It was a weird game because you got Green Bay jumping out to a 10-0 lead, and 10-0 run to open the game by the Packers. 38-0 run by the Buccaneers after that. It's insane. And what jump-started this run was 2 interceptions by Rodgers. And he was just slightly off all day. Missed Mercedes Lewis wide open down the middle of the field. Just throws like slightly a little bit too far for Devontae Adams, or he's just not able to get the feet down. The interception, he threw it a little bit behind him. So the Packers offense just struggled. I think because Rodgers was off, they also got the injury to David Bakhtiari in the third quarter really hurt them as well. They struggled to protect him. But you got to give credit to Tampa Bay's defense especially the young corners in Carlton Davis, James Dean, and Sean Murphy-Bunting. These 3 guys were all second mid-round picks of the draft, and they all really stepped up and played really good coverage, I thought. You also got a guy like Ndamukong Suh, and you got guys like Jason Pierre-Paul and their pass rush. They just do a good job there. Todd Bowles called a great game, I thought, and give the Buccaneers credit for winning this game. And also good to see Gronk finally come to life. He had 78 yards and 1 touchdown. So the Buccaneers are rolling right now.
Dan Orlovsky today said if they play defense like that, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I thought that was quite a stretch. We'll see. I'm going to talk about the New England Patriots. I'm not really sure what kind of team it is yet, but they could miss the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think the AFC, it's going to be tough to make the playoffs. Luckily, you get that extra team in the playoffs this year, right? 7 teams in. So that might help them. They're 2-3 right now. The Bills should win that division. I think they're the best team in that division, so they should win that division. But the Patriots, so that means they got to get a wild card, and I think that's going to be really hard. The QB play is average at best so far. The running game is good. I mean, top 5 in the league running, but that's because Cam is taking off running there. Defense has been good. They're going to need some breaks to get into the playoffs, which is really weird to say that the Patriots might not make the playoffs. So I don't know if that's as much about missing Brady or Belichick is struggling just to find some points out there. The defense has been good at times, but we'll see. It's just strange to be talking about the Patriots that way.
Mm-hmm. I will say Cam Newton coming off that COVID test, a whole weird week with them, and maybe if he's the quarterback, they even have a chance to knock off the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. So I'm not as concerned about the Patriots as you are quite yet, but I do question if they are the best team in their own division with the Bills.
Okay. All right. Number 4. And you're up.
Yeah, speaking of those Bills, they got absolutely gashed on the ground. And that was the encouraging thing if you're the Chiefs. They really ran the ball effectively in Monday night's victory over the Bills 26-17. They had 245 rushing yards to the Bills 84. And what did that lead to when you're talking about time of possession? 37 minutes to Buffalo's only 22 on offense.
Wow.
So very lopsided there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had probably his best game as a pro. They gave him the ball 26 times, and he rewarded them with 161 yards. So I thought he was very good. Their rushing game was good, and we know it's only going to improve with the addition of Le'Veon Bell as well. So I didn't think Mahomes was amazing tonight, but they did enough on that end of the ball, and just good thing their running game is getting going, especially with their offensive line dealing with some injuries as well. And if you're Buffalo, look, Josh Allen was just slightly off again. It's a tough game against the Chiefs, but there are still certain situations where, and I know I'm a Vikings fan, but if you watch the tape, Diggs' effort is not always there. And that was the thing that was sometimes the issue in Minnesota. You get late, I know you're down by 9 points, but for him not to be running back to the line of scrimmage like that, I just think that's a bad look personally. So Buffalo's still a good team, but give the Chiefs credit. And if they can run the ball this effectively, they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, we'll see about that, but you might be right. Unfortunately, dang it. So I'm going to talk about another inconsistent team, the LA Rams.
Yeah.
So they're 4-2. They have a top 5 defense. So, but right now they're beating the bad teams and losing to the good teams. So they got to find a way to do that. You know, I am not sold on Goff. Yeah. You know, he's really up and down. You know, he had such amazing success early in his career. Now it's like starting to settle in. I think they should be better than they are. I think they should be right there with the Seahawks at the top of that division, but they just seem to find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. And that they have the Bears coming in next week. So how's that for a game? Bears at Rams next week.
Defensive battle.
One of those will get solved. Then they go to the Dolphins, which won't be easy, and then they host the Seahawks. So these next 3 weeks, we'll really find out a lot about the Rams. But they're just inconsistent, which tells me they're an average football team.
Yeah.
And I think they should be better than that. So we'll see.
I really think Sean McVay is an unbelievable play caller, and I give him so much more credit for the success the Rams have than a Jared Goff whenever they do win. And when they lose, I usually think you can see more of Goff's flaws. I really do believe that team goes with Goff sometimes. When McVay can get him clicking, it works, and when it doesn't get clicking, we just see them fall apart. So I'm with you on the Goff stuff. I'm not a believer in him.
All right, last one, number 5. What do you got?
The team that's kind of tricked us the first 2 weeks of the season, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were tanking for Trevor Central coming into the year. And what do? The first week is they beat the Colts, and then they only lose by 3 points to the Titans, to a really good team. So we're like, oh, this team's going to be awesome. They're going to be really good. But then if we go over their schedule the next 4 weeks, which is what we've seen now, it's what they should have done. And teams they should have beaten in the Dolphins, the Bengals, and Texans, and the Lions. Those are not very good teams. They're 0-4 against those teams, with the most recent one being the 34-16 loss to the Lions. No, the Jaguars are back to who we thought they were. They're an extremely young team with a below-average quarterback play. We love him because of the gimmick of the mustache and all that. But Minshew's very up and down. Like you said, the defense, too. I don't think Doug Marone's the guy as head coach either. So I don't know if you look at the rest of their schedule, I don't see the other win unless injuries and stuff happens. So this is a 1-15 football team to me that will unfortunately miss out on Trevor Lawrence because of how bad the Jets are. But they're still going to have a chance at Justin Fields or Trey Lance. So the Jags kind of tricked us early in the season, as we always overreact in the first week or two.
They won some games, darn it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, good point. It's the battle for Trevor is on, and unfortunately, I don't see the Jets winning again.
And hey, Trevor looked pretty good this weekend too, for 72 points.
Trevor looks all right. So, all right, number 5. I got to talk about my Steelers a little bit. But I'm not going to talk about the domination over the Browns, because that's just what we do. You know, so, I mean, that's not unexpected. The Browns have lost 17 straight games in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So that's a long time. So I'm going to talk about what's coming up. Steelers, Titans, both teams 5-0. You know, obviously the bye was supposed to be this week for the Steelers. Things got shifted around. So Steelers go to the Titans. Both teams like to run the ball. You know, I think the Steelers defense can stop the run better, but I think the Titans run the ball a little better than the Steelers have. Typically in these types of games, if you can run the ball and you don't turn the ball over, you usually win. So we're going to watch those two stats: who ran for more yards and who didn't turn it over. I think Big Ben's going to have a big game. I think he's going to throw for 5 touchdowns in the game.
Wow.
That's my prediction right now. This is going to be him on his comeback trail as to lead into a division title. I think it should be a great matchup. Great physical. This is old school football here. and both teams had a big injury, right? Lewan's out for the Titans, done for the year, ACL, and Devin Bush is out for the year, middle linebacker for the Steelers. So big adjustments have to be made by both those units. It should be a great game. It's kind of one of those games. I kind of hope it's like maybe lightly snowing or a little drizzle or something like that. It just should be played like that. It's like first team to 17 wins or something like that, which doesn't add up to Ben's 5 touchdowns, but we'll worry about that later. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm really excited for that matchup. Seeing that Steelers, especially their defensive line, just go against the Titans O-line, specifically Derrick Henry. The game he was coming off of was unbelievable. Tannehill's been playing great. A.J. Brown. It's at the Steelers, correct?
No, at the Titans.
I still think I'm going to go with the Steelers. I just like their defense right now, and I think you said Ben's going to throw for 5 touchdowns, which means Chase Claypool is going to catch 5 touchdowns. So that's how it works usually with how great he's playing. So I'm with you. I do like the Steelers, but man, I love the way the Tennessee Titans play football.
Yeah. So, well, there you have it. Our another review of this was week 6 in the NFL, and we look forward to next week when we can dive into week 7 and. So we'll have a lot of fun doing that. So join us next time here from the couch. All right, we'll see you next time.